Hello everyone, in this video, I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Moeed Pirzada to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Moeed Pirzada's words. There are some interesting developments in relation to Pakistan, India, the United States, and the Trump administration. The biggest puzzle and the most interesting question I have is this. I am sure many of you and many podcasters or social media users might have ignored this. But in the past 24 hours, India's trade delegation, which of course has a very important trade relationship with the United States, and a trade deal that has attracted the attention of the entire world, has been in the news. The American media is following it, international media is following it. India is facing a lot of frustration and failure. The Indian delegation, which had high hopes, especially after their settlement with Vietnam during the Trump administration for a 20% deal, thought they would get a similar deal before July 9th. But after facing frustration, they returned to India on Friday without completing their trade deal. On the other hand, Pakistan's delegation came. I must mention here that, as Julius Caesar said about the conquest of Egypt, I came, I saw, I conquered. So Pakistan's delegation, led by the Commerce Secretary, managed to quickly finalize their trade deal. This news is now being printed in Pakistani newspapers. So what's the puzzle here? Why is India facing so much frustration and failure? And, well, why has Pakistan easily settled their trade deal? This is a puzzle that very few people may have noticed, honestly. It's important because the answer lies in the difference in the political environments between India and Pakistan. It really shows the different challenges and constraints that India's ruling elite faces versus those faced by Pakistan's ruling elite. But before we go further into this, I want to mention, two or three more interesting developments in the news. Pakistan's Foreign Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Mr. Ishaq Dar recently said in Lahore that the news about Nawaz Sharif meeting Imran Khan in Adiala jail and settling all matters was just a rumour. According to him, someone for their own purposes spread this rumour. He did not specifically blame Imran Khan or Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf for this rumour, because really it's obvious that Imran Khan has no interest in meeting Nawaz Sharif. Nor would anyone believe that Imran Khan would want to meet Nawaz Sharif. But the interesting thing is, Ishaq Dar did not say anything about who exactly spread this rumour. Despite this, he praised the leadership of the Pakistan People's Party, mentioning that their relationship with them is strong and their alliance is solid. Now, where did Mr. Ishaq Dar say all this? He was in Lahore, in the city of Data Darbar, wearing a white prayer cap while making these statements. When I saw his picture with the cap in the press and videos, I was reminded of a verse by the famous poet Iqbal Tera Dil, Tuhai Sanam Ashna, Tujhe Kya Milega Namaz Main. I thought about this because, well, it makes one wonder about the psychological environment Pakistan's ruling elite operates in. Now, talking a bit about the leadership of Pakistan People's Party, let's also take a look at a statement from Sindh's Chief Minister, Murad Ali Shah, who said that July 5th in Pakistan's history is a black day. Why? Because on July 5th, 1977, General Zia-ul-Haq overthrew Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's government and imposed martial law in the country. After 2 years, on April 4th, 1979, Bhutto was executed after a judicial drama. However, Murad Ali Shah may be unaware that the events of April 9th and 10th, 2022, are more significant for Pakistan than July 5th, 1977. Why? Because the events of 1977, which involved the Pakistan National Alliance joining hands with General Zia-ul-Haq against Bhutto's government, are still relevant. Similarly, in 2022, the political opposition, with the help of the military, played a role in ousting Imran Khan's government. The same forces are involved and, well, history is repeating itself. Moving forward, let's talk about another prominent leader, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, who gave an interview to Al Jazeera in the last 24 to 48 hours. In this interview, he made several intelligent remarks and condemned the suspension of the Indus Water Treaty, as well as other issues concerning India. But the most interesting part of the interview was when he mentioned that Pakistan is ready to hand over certain individuals to India, such as Hafiz Saeed and Maulana Masood Azhar, if India demands them for trial. This hints at a potential negotiation where Pakistan may be willing to hand over individuals involved in terror activities in India. This message is significant because a few weeks ago I predicted that ultimately there would be a deal in which these individuals, wanted by India for the Mumbai attacks and Kashmir-related terrorism, would be handed over for trial. Bilawal's comments seem to confirm this direction, suggesting that Pakistan is preparing for such a deal. So, what's happening here? The first formal hint is that Pakistan may be preparing to enter into such negotiations. Let's see where this leads and what the future holds for both countries, especially regarding their media and political elite. This leads to the core issue, the puzzle. India's trade delegation, which had extended its visit to Washington to finalize its negotiations with the Trump administration, has returned unsuccessful, frustrated and disappointed. It has been done, and the trade ministers and commerce ministers of India, like Piyush Goyal, have announced retaliatory duties against America. Now, India is also talking about retaliatory duties. However, they are also saying that they are hopeful, and they believe it will happen. They are hopeful that within the months of July, they will finalize a trade deal with the Trump team. But they have stated that India cannot be bound by the July 8th or 9th deadline given by Trump. We must do a trade deal that serves our national interest, meets the needs of our people, and satisfies our national requirements, so we cannot be tied to a deadline. Now, remember that when Trump first made his announcement about tariffs on all countries at the end of March or April, he had imposed 26% tariffs on India and 29% on Pakistan. But I think later on he gave all countries a 10% tariff reduction as a temporary relief. He also set a deadline of July 9th, 2025 for negotiations to conclude. So far, only 2 countries have managed to negotiate trade deals, one with Vietnam, for which Trump imposed a 20% tariff, and another with Britain, which was relatively lenient. After that, Pakistan's trade deal has more or less been completed with the US, but the final print details haven't been released yet. On Air Force One, the presidential plane, Trump said, "It's so old now, it's embarrassing that I travel in such a vehicle." He added that Qatar gave him a new plane. Traveling on Air Force One, Donald Trump said that working with so many people separately is difficult. In this weekend alone, I am issuing 12 letters, and these 12 letters will be sent to 12 different countries around the world, including Pakistan, explaining the terms we have decided for you. So this is what's happening now. Now, we come to the issue of why India is not receiving a trade deal while Pakistan is. In Pakistan's newspapers, there are celebrations as their trade deal seems to be happening. No one really paid much attention to this issue, even though Pakistan's trade volume with America is only about $5 to $6 billion, while India's annual trade volume with the US is estimated at around $180 billion and continues to increase. This trade volume includes both goods and services, with a trade deficit of about $30 billion in India's favor. India's total trade deficit with the US is 10 times greater than Pakistan's, and its overall trade volume is almost 30 times larger. To put it simply, Pakistan's total trade with the US is $6 billion, while India's is $180 billion. India's structure of trade with the US is also very different. Its exports primarily consist of pharmaceuticals, as the US needs raw materials from India. During COVID-19, machine parts were also sent to America from India. Additionally, gems, textiles and IT services are also major exports. The IT sector has a massive surplus, partly because many American tech companies, including Google and Facebook, outsource their back-end operations to India. Many of the decision-makers in these US companies are of Indian origin, and they have shifted many of their operations to India. Now, let's look at Pakistan's trade structure. Almost all of Pakistan's exports to the US consist of textiles, amounting to about $36 billion. Their imports from the US in merchandise are just $0.6 billion. This results in a total trade volume of $4.2 billion in goods, with a $3 billion trade deficit in Pakistan's favor. Regarding services, the US has a minimal advantage in IT services, but it remains insignificant in comparison. In the broader context of trade, Donald Trump's administration wants India to buy American agricultural products, especially in the massive Indian agricultural market. They also want India to buy cars from the United States. I'm surprised that India would buy cars from the United States, as most people in India, even those who can afford it, prefer Japanese or German cars. However, there are also talks about buying oil and advanced weapon systems from the United States, and India has indicated its willingness to purchase the latter. But the issue lies with agricultural products and the manufacturing industry. India has a very strong agricultural and manufacturing industry, and there are political lobbies and strong resistance against any trade deal involving these sectors. India also faces challenges from its opposition, the judiciary, and a critical public opinion, all of which hinder such deals. In contrast, in Pakistan, there is no such resistance. The entire opposition is either in jail or marginalized, and the media and judiciary have little to no power to criticize or oppose these deals. Now, on Pakistan's side, while there are some speculations about investments in minerals, energy, and telecom, these are not yet finalized. The United States is interested in investing in Pakistan's mineral industry, especially in areas like lithium, graphite and niobium, which are essential for electric vehicle batteries and energy projects. There are also discussions about American investment in the Reko mine. The broader context of Pakistan's trade negotiations is based on resource diplomacy. Pakistan has passed mineral acts to facilitate American investments, particularly in sectors like lithium and rare earth elements. However, there is skepticism about whether Pakistan will be able to deliver on these promises, as the feasibility of such investments takes years to materialize. Thus, the real question is whether these promises can be turned into actual deliverables. Now, coming back to the comparison between the two countries, the difference in approaches is clear. In India, there is political resistance from the farmers and manufacturing lobbies, and the government has to tread carefully due to concerns about political repercussions. In Pakistan, however, there is no such concern, as the opposition is weak, the media is subdued, and the judiciary is practically powerless. That wraps up our translation of Moeed Pirzada's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.